at my age and through what I've done, I sort of feeling I'm at the I have no F's to give level of living in the world.
Yeah. Welcome to Had to Ask, the show where the people you love to watch open up about the parts of their story you don't usually hear. I'm Melanie Sutrathada, and each week I sit down with the artists shaping culture today to talk about the roles that changed them, the moments that nearly broke them, and everything in between. Today I'm joined by Anne Harada, Broadway treasure, comedy assassin, and one of those performers who makes absolutely everything she touches so much better. Of course, so many of us fell in love with Anne as Christmas Eve in Avenue Q, a role she originated and made completely unforgettable. But her career is so much bigger than one iconic role. It spans M. Butterfly, Seussical, 9 to 5, Cinderella, Les Mis, Into the Woods, and now Schmigadoon on the screen and on Broadway. Today, we talk about longevity, her personal Groundhog Day, and what it really takes to build a career in the arts. Let's get into it. Anne, I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you very much.
Oh my goodness, we have so many things to talk about. First of all, before we get into it, how's your heart feeling? How you doing?
Okay. Yeah, I'm real happy about Schmigadoon. We opened last week, and everybody's been very responsive and, appreciative. So that's all you can ask for.
I mean, also, I feel like this show is just fun. We need light and joy and fun right now in the world.
Yeah, it's pure fun.
It's so good. What is your favorite part of the show at the time? There's so much
There's
good.
so many. Okay. Well, right now it's the scene at the picnic basket auction because there's a little moment between Josh and Melissa where they kind of insult each other. And that's an unscripted moment and it changes every night. And so lately we've had a bunch of moments where, one or the other of them will send the rest of us just howling with laughter. But of course we can't break on stage. So it's just a whole bunch of people turning their head and trying not, it's just ridiculous. And I kind of look forward to it every night.
Have you had a favorite of those so far?
Yeah, there was one time when Alex, in response to a little insult that Sarah, I should say Josh and Melissa says, Josh did this and blah, blah, blah. And Josh says, oh yeah, well, while we're sharing, she has a lower back tattoo that says, live, love, fart. And we all just went. Every single person on the stage started to giggle. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't know how we're going to get this moment back.
Well, that's one of the things that makes live theater so fun. Because I know we've both done film and TV. And while those things are fun, there's nothing like being essentially trapped in a room with people who can't look at their phones and they're like, no, we're in it. We're in it. I'm watching you, watching me, and this is fun.
Well, that's the whole point of theater, and that's why I think Schmigadoon works so well on stage, even as opposed to on screen, which I thought it worked very well on screen.
And you were hilarious.
Thank you very much.
Both on screen and on TV. Wow.
But it's so much more fun to do it in front of a bunch of people who are sitting there, like to get the response from the audience in real time. To know that this show is just going. There are no cuts. There are no stops. It's like, we're going to play it out, kids, whatever happens on stage.
Right.
And absolutely. I just love it. And I feel like that's what audiences are responding to as well.
What drew you to actually coming on the stage with Schmigadoon? Because I think you're the only person to come from the show, the TV show, to the stage.
I really wanted to.
Great answer. Done.
I did. And, people were saying like, well, we're probably going to go with other actors and not use anybody from the TV show. And I was like, why not? I'm right here. I'm completely available and it's all I want to do. Please use me.
I love it. Oh, gosh.
It's a little embarrassing because I was the only one that begged, but that's okay. I mean, I don't care. As long as I get what I want in the end, it's fine.
You have to ask for what you want.
That's
and
right.
You wanted it and now you're here. And the amount of people who just leave that theater smiling from ear to ear, it's unreal.
Of course.
It's unreal.
Well, why else are we here right now if not to try to improve the lives of people who are coming to see shows? I just feel like it's the moment that we need to be together and celebrating each other, and Schmigadoon is all about that. And it's just what I wanted to do. And it's like the only place I want to be right now. So.
Oh, that makes my heart so happy. It's the idea of, the fact that you would not be here if you hadn't asked for it is something that I especially love. I feel like that's been a through line in your career. You're like, this is what I want, and I'm going to ask for it, even if it's scary to ask. And most of the time it is scary to ask for what you want.
Agree.
We're here. So if you had to be trapped in a musical that is not Schmigadoon, what musical would you want to be trapped in?
Well, it's the one I was trapped in, Avenue Q. I really love that world. And I was a part of it for so long. And I still kind of feel emotionally a part of it. And I just, there's something, again, so beautiful about puppetry. How great your fellow performers have to be to pull that off. And it's just fun. Why not live in a world that's fun?
You have to. I think joy is just the overriding through line of the lives of so many performers. I've worked with puppets on a very, very small scale, not nearly as cool as you. I used to host a show for Nick Jr. Called Puppet Preschool. And so it was all these cute little puppets, and it was very much geared towards I would say 3 to 4, 5-year-olds right before they're going into school, and teaching them how to breathe and learn through colors and be accepting. And it was so wonderful. And I remember that was one of the most life-changing projects. So I can only imagine being in the absolute artistry and fun factory that is Avenue Q. And also seeing it travel the world. And it is absolutely a part of everybody's culture of we loved the Avenue Qs. And, so many people have that in common of that was one of their first shows.
Which is frightening to me, but okay. I ended up doing the original London production, and I'm still very close to that cast. And, it's a big hit in London again. It's in having a revival right now. And I'm just so thrilled that it's still around. Mm-hmm. And people love it just as much as they did before. So, good.
Yes, absolutely. I think it is such a special world. And the fact that you have not only created this character that then continues to live on, but your career has only continued to excel and grow. And if you were looking back on that version of you before Avenue Q, do you think you could have anticipated at all what life would have led to?
No, of course not.
Oh, gosh. I mean, what's interesting is I do think that a lot of us, we hope, we manifest that my dream one day is to be doing this and to win a Tony, whatever that dream is. And I think sometimes life has other plans for you, and sometimes those plans are way more magical than you ever could have expected.
Well, I didn't get into the theater to know what was going to happen to me tomorrow.
True.
Do you know what I mean? I just feel anybody who goes into this profession, this lifestyle, is somebody who's willing to take a chance. And you kind of have to be. And I just sort of feel well, I don't know what's going to happen to me tomorrow. I don't know what phone call I'm going to get, but that's good. I don't want to know. I like this. And, it's just how I chose to live. A lot of people don't. And that's cool too, but I'm just really happy with the way things have turned out. And I could never have imagined, the things that I've gotten to do and the places I've gotten to see. I'm just way happier to just sort of let the life play out.
Is your husband the same way? Are you both these big dreamers?
I mean, in a way, he's sort of the rock of our house. Obviously, he kind of takes care of all the practical things, and I get to run off and do my art. But, he's tremendously supportive, obviously, and willing to go on these adventures with me, which is very, very good.
That's the goal, I think, in everything we do. And in everything I've seen from you is so much of it is built upon community. I love seeing people from your undergrad coming in to see the show, and people from all walks of life who you've known in every different aspect, where they're actively coming to see you in Schmigadoon. And that is so exciting.
No, it's wonderful.
It's beautiful. So much of theater is based on community, right? And creating and sharing stories. And I am interested to know of Like, who have been like your biggest champions while creating for the past 30, 40 years?
Oh gosh, that's hard to say. I feel like everybody I've worked with kind of like along the way has been so supportive. I don't know, like in terms of champions, like, did they get me a job? I don't know. Did they tell somebody you should hire her? I don't know. You know what I mean? But there's definitely people that I've worked with that have been like, oh, these, lots of times it's musical directors who never get kind of like the flowers
Right.
at all that they deserve. But I can only think of like a bunch of people that I've worked with that I was like, this person thought I was something. And, for whatever reason said, no, you're good. And that kind of trust is like kind of like what keeps you going.
What's interesting is you were actually, I saw you when I first moved to New York. I think Avenue Q was one of my first shows. And you were actually one of the first times where seeing you in that show was one of the first times I ever saw someone who actually looked like me on the stage. And it is really cool to be sitting here with you now and seeing that not only have you had such an incredible career, but you continue to inspire people in this huge way. So I just wanted to say thank you.
Well, that's very moving. Thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being here. I'm so excited. I would love to talk a little bit more about representation. Because what's interesting is I remember my first show that I auditioned for in New York was The King and I. And I remember having the worst experience. I'm a dancer, and so I went in for the dance call and surrounded by so many white girls with the slanted winged liner and being livid. Like, that was my first Broadway audition, and I just went, what are we doing? What are we doing? And so I was like, well, if I'm actually Thai and I'm in this room and like there are way more people with less melanin in this room, like, what am I doing here? Could you share a little bit about what that process was like for you when you were first auditioning?
Well, I would say that the landscape back then was very different than how it is now, obviously. And when I first came to the city, there were very few roles for people that looked like us, right? And what there was sort of like the canon, as I think of it, King and I, even Miss Saigon. And I was, I auditioned for that, the very first production of that, and all that kind of stuff. Things that are very Asian specific.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I'm not the kind of Asian anybody wanted to see in an Asian show.
I would love to see you in everything.
I'm just telling you.
Yes.
No one has ever said, oh boy, I got to get her in a King and I. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Ever. And I didn't understand that. And after a while, somebody just said, Anne, you're just too modern. You're just too, now and American. And it's like sort of like, and I get it. I kind of am, but I also feel like, well, but I could act it, I could be in any world. You have to have some vision and cast me. But, that just wasn't meant to be. And so I was not going to be in Miss Saigon, and I was not going to be in King Live, mostly because I didn't have the talent to be in those shows in terms of like what they needed people to do was dance. And that I cannot do. So
I would love to see you dance now. I'm like,
well, I mean, yeah. When I had my Miss Saigon audition, they were like, could you improvise, like dancing like a bar girl?
Oh.
And I improvised dancing like a girl at a bar, which is very different. And I was like, this really isn't for me. I can see where this is going. But I also kind of knew like that wasn't my strength anyway, that the parts that I really gravitated towards were the ones that people kind of had to like use their imagination and go, well, she could play this part, And I think that's sort of what been the strength of my career. Florence Menlove was not written Asian. It's like, but somebody said, well, she could play this part.
Good.
And that's all that you need is somebody kind of believe in you and give you the chance. So
I could not agree more. And I think what I find myself doing as I navigate my career is I've kind of had the same issues in a way with my team, where they're sending me in for there are a few shows right now that are coming to like network television, where it's almost primarily an Asian cast, which is incredible. And I got to do the table read opposite some of these insane actors that I've seen my whole life, but they're looking for a very specific type of Asian woman who speaks in like accented English and, could run a grocery store or do these things. And I'm just like, respectfully, I'm not your girl. Like, they're looking for like these specific roles I've been looking at there was one role I auditioned for, literally that was a geisha. And I went, respectfully to geishas, I am not your girl. And so I find that now the way that my agents and manager have kind of been more positioning me as more of like the roles that have nothing to do with race at all. They're like, oh, let's put Melanie in there. Let's see if we can get her in to see these things. And it's been really cool because I got to do, I was in like a Hallmark movie, and it was so lovely to be the girl who's partially at the center of this romance.
What movie were you in?
I was in Where Are You Christmas. It was very cute.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one, and I watch a lot of Hallmark movies.
Do you have a favorite?
So many favorites. Well, look, that's my goal. I really want to be in a Hallmark movie.
Anne, you've never been in one.
Hook me up.
Oh, girl. I know quite a few people in the Hallmark. Whoa.
I know a few people in the Hallmark world too.
This makes me very excited.
To me, it's like, you don't think I can run the pancake store?
Yes.
I'm right here. You know what I mean?
You're right here,
right
Anne.
here.
Stop it. Wait. Oh my gosh. You could run the pancake store.
I know it.
You could run the Christmas tree lodge.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I know so much about the Christmas tree lodge. So many Christmas trees. Like, if you don't own a lodge of some sort, I know.
What are we doing?
What am I doing here?
What are we doing
That's
here?
That's what I say. No, I mean, of course, like, I look at those movies. I love those movies. But it's just sort of like, meow. Yeah, meow. I could live in a town called Christmas.
They're all the same.
I know. I know. That's what's so great about them.
I love it. And I think it goes also, it's funny that you love Hallmark in the same way that I love Hallmark. It's just, we need joy as much as possible. And there's some incredible movies like The Substance. Ooh, incredible. But I don't want to watch The Substance. It's so scary. It makes me upset. Like, everything's crazy. I want to watch a Hallmark movie where there's a proposal at a pageant in the town. I want to see a big city girl go back to her hometown and fall in love with a man who doesn't know how to ice skate. Is that too much to ask, Anne? I think not. I don't think so.
I can't be in an ice skating movie. I really don't know how to ice skate.
I also don't. I can stand, and that's
I can't even do that, I don't think.
What is a special skill that you have that people might be surprised by?
Oh, I don't know.
I know you've got some crazy, insane special skills.
I don't know. I mean, they're not special skills. They're skills. They're not anything to write home about.
What are your...
I cook. I'm a good baker. I can play ping pong pretty well. I like poker.
You like poker?
I mean, that's what I said. These are not special skills.
No, I like that.
But whatever.
You like poker? I love it. What's funny is my mom has worked at a casino almost my entire life. I don't know how to play a single card game. If you were like, what is poker versus gin rummy? I don't know.
Oh, I like gin rummy.
I don't know what it is.
I'm pretty good at it.
Okay, explain to me gin rummy. I don't get it. I don't know.
Okay, it's different from poker. It's a lot different.
But the fact that I don't even know what it is, what are we doing? Help.
Well, it's not, to me, gin rummy is a game that you play with your family. It's not a game you play in a casino. I would never play at a casino.
I don't know any of that. Okay.
I would just play it like around a table with your friends.
Are you a hustler? Like, do you?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay, so you're not special, but very special skill is poker. And I like that.
I don't think I'm very good at it.
How does one become good at poker?
I think you just have to keep playing a lot.
Poker is the one where it's all based on like the tells, right? Like if people can tell you're lying.
Well, that's one part of poker, certainly. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think I'm a very good liar. I think I'm a good actor, but not a good
liar. Right.
I think people would catch me and I'd be like, yeah, I have A full house?
Well, you have to prove it if you're going to tell them what your hand is.
But I mean, isn't it like they get like you put in based on what you have, and then I don't think
you bet based on what you have.
Yes.
Or you try to lead people to think you have something you don't have. Or, it's basically you reading the room and them reading you, trying to decide like, is her hand good enough to beat my hand?
So what you're telling me is you're very good at reading people.
I am pretty good at reading people.
Ooh.
And maybe that is a special skill.
That is a special skill. My special skills are a little bit different. Mine are, one is like I've played soccer my entire life.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's actually, it's really cool that I have probably had, I would say 5 soccer related feature film auditions in the past year.
Oh my God.
Weird to have that special niche because they're like, not only are they looking for a soccer player, but they're like, we want an Asian soccer player. And I'm like, there's like 3 of us. And I don't know who the other 2 are, but I'm assuming there's more.
Yeah.
It's very weirdly specific.
That's cool, though.
It is cool. It's just...
That'd be wonderful to be good at soccer because that means you would be good at running.
Oh.
And it means you would have incredible stamina.
That's true.
That's why I'm not good at soccer. There's no way. I could barely do it in high school when I was young.
Oh.
And now I'm old and it's like, forget it.
Stop it. Well, I mean, I think it is such an interesting thing getting older and the way that like growing up, if you ask me like, oh, like tell me more about yourself. I'm like, oh, I'm a dancer and I'm a soccer player. And that's how I would define myself for so long as these things that I can do. And I was like, oh, I'm a dancer, I'm a soccer player, I'm an actor. And as I get older, I'm like, well, my body just doesn't, I used to be able to kick my face. I could do like, like right split, left split, center split, do all the things. And now I'm like, my body hurts. I don't want to do that. So if I'm not these things that used to define me, then what am I now? And I think that might be where I'm at in my life at this moment. Are you a Taylor Swift fan at all?
I really am not familiar with
That's okay.
her ooze.
Got it. She has her thing about like her eras.
Yes.
So I feel like I'm trying to figure out what this era is. And I don't quite know what it is. I spent a lot of time going in for like the in like the film TV commercial world. I was always going in for like assistants or like the best friend or whatever the thing is. And now I'm more of like this, I don't know. Now I'm not like the best friend in the Hallmark movie. Now I'm like the one who is the big city girl who's coming in. And it's been an interesting thing I still feel 21. I'm not 21.
I don't know how people perceive me, really. I just know how I am moving through the world now, and at my age and through what I've done, I sort of feeling I'm at the I have no F's to give level of living in the world.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's lots of people who I was at do you ever go to the Broadway Cares flea market?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
they take too much of my money.
This is my favorite event of the year. So I am like at it, like looking through stuff at the Broadway Cares flea market. And there's a little slightly older Asian woman also doing this next to me. She looks up and she says, "You're Aunt Harada." Yes. You've done well. And I thought, okay, well, yes, and thank you. And why do you have to put it like that?
Yeah.
So you're surprised. Well, thanks a lot, lady. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just sort of want to say, like, go F yourself. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Right now, I am so happy. I'm doing exactly what I want to do, and I am exactly where I want to be.
I love it.
And I've had this really long career, and I've made some incredible friends, and I've had these great experiences. It's like I had nothing to apologize for, and I have nothing that I'm like, ooh, if I don't achieve that, my life will be over. I don't. It's all good. Like at this point, it's like, I don't care. I want good things to happen for my show and for my friends, but I don't personally need any more anything. I don't need any more, it's like, I'm good. I'm really happy.
How did you get to that point of just being happy? I think I'm a happy person as a whole, but I think as like career, maybe it's just like where I'm at in my life, and so many of my friends are having kids or they're married and they've got. I'm from San Diego, and in San Diego, normally you stay in San Diego, and that everybody's people look at me and they're like, "Wow, you're doing so many cool things." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like, look, you have a huge savings. You're on your huge house. You've got all the things." And I wonder sometimes, like, when I'll get to that point where I'm like, no F's given. I'm like, will I ever? I'm a Virgo. Will I ever get there? Maybe not.
Well, how much did you want those things?
I don't know if I ever wanted those things.
Well, then that's why you don't have them.
That's true. That's true.
You know,
Yeah.
it's like, it'd be great. You might get those things at some point, but you obviously, that wasn't the first thing that you cared about. You were more interested in your career, or you're just having different experiences, or getting out of San Diego, or whatever it was. I love San Diego.
Oh, I mean, San Diego's magical. It's magical.
It's beautiful. And I had one of the best theatrical experiences of my life there.
Tell me more.
I did a play at La Jolla Playhouse.
Oh, it's incredible.
Called Babbitt. And we were there for a few months, and it was in 2023, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got to work with some of my very best, like gang. It was like Matthew Broderick and Julie Huston and Matt McGrath and Francis Chu. And these are all people that I really love. And, I just feel like this was the best time ever. We just played. We were so happy there.
And it also, La Jolla Playhouse is just a dream.
It's a fantastic place to work.
And La Jolla, magical.
Yeah, gorgeous.
So the fact that you got to work with all these incredible humans, I mean, I met Francis Chu really briefly, and I was lucky enough to be in the audience when he won his Tony.
Oh, I know.
And the absolute sobs coming out of me. I was like, am I okay?
Me too.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, Francis and he made his Broadway debut in the play I made my Broadway debut in. We've known each other forever. And there's something there's something beautiful about that longevity, knowing somebody for a very long time, working with somebody for a very long time, getting to watch them kind of hit the pinnacle of, these big dreams that you have when you're young. It's amazing. What could be better?
What could be better? What a beautiful thing it is to not only be rising, but also seeing the people around you who you love and who are so deserving.
Yes.
Also rise.
Yes.
Wow. That is incredible. One question I get a lot is like, whose career do you want to emulate? Did you get that a lot when you were growing up? Did people ask you like, oh, who do you want to be like?
No, I don't think anybody really had an idea of who I wanted to be like, because there were so few role models to be like, right? And I sort of feel like, honestly, Emma Thompson.
Ooh.
But I don't.
Yes. Yes.
I do not have her skill set at all.
I don't think most people have her skill
I don't think
set.
so either.
It's like three
But
people.
I mean, she's my idol of idols,
Wow.
I think. Living, of course.
Yes.
I just feel like she's incredible, and I would, if I could be at anything like Emma Thompson, that would be my dream.
Okay, so in my mind, I've cast you in a Hallmark movie where you and Emma Thompson are opposite each other. You have rival bakeries.
Uh-huh.
And your son and her daughter fall in love.
Great.
Okay, deal. Hallmark, please make this.
Make it right now.
I mean, you and Emma Thompson in a Hallmark movie?
Also,
competing?
Wait, but we're going to get together and be friends because they're going to make us perform together in like the town,
Yeah, the pageant.
Christmas pageant.
Of course.
Yeah.
Or it's like a talent show to raise money to save this thing that somehow was bought by like an evil overlord.
Of course.
Okay. Done.
I'm done. Great.
Okay, so I know you said you didn't have any dream roles, that you had like things you needed to check off, but that is one.
Okay, sure.
I don't know who we have to talk to.
Me neither.
I mean, I can just imagine you and Emma Thompson. The magic.
I know.
The magic.
I know.
When you think back on your career so far, what is like a bright, shining moment that you're like, if I could Groundhog Day this, I would want to live this day again?
Well, I don't know. I keep thinking about my Broadway debut I remember that night, I was so young. I remember that night, my roommate, when I had come back from the theater that night, my roommate had put all these candles out, and there was like a little celebration with some of our close friends. And it was like, look, you did this thing that you always hoped you would get to do, and there are so few things in your life that you can really say, like, this is a thing I would like to do. And now I have achieved it. Right. And that was like a real thing that happened. And it happened very young. And at the time, I don't know that I really appreciated it, but now I really see it. Like, okay, that might have been the first thing that you ever thought of as like, this is a dream that I have. And then you achieved it. Because since then, I don't know that I've had any dreams that like, I'm going to be on a TV show in Canada. Like I didn't have any.
Not in Canada, yes.
But I mean, that's where we shot
right.
Schmigadoon. Like I will sit at a table and smash, like whatever it was. I never had any dreams that I was like thinking about. But like I said, they've happened. Things just happen to me and I'm grateful.
How do you celebrate when something happens for you? Like one thing I love to do is I always carry birthday candles with me.
Oh,
and it's for myself and then for other people. So when something good happens, I'm like, light a candle.
Honestly, I like to go and find my favorite flowers and bring them home and arrange them.
That's so sweet and pure, Anne. Oh my
Not
gosh.
Really.
That's so sweet. I mean, you did just tell me about poker. So, I mean,
not really. But I mean, I do really like flowers and I do have favorites. And if I can, I try to buy them on, wherever I find them at the grocery store or the corner bodega, wherever the hell it is.
I love it. If you were looking back on your career, maybe when you were 17, 18, is there anything you would tell yourself with all of this hindsight?
Go to dance class. I just don't know what I was thinking. I mean, I know what I was thinking. When I was growing up, I also could not dance, obviously. And so I didn't try to improve myself. I didn't think it was going to be necessary. And it has been the number one bugaboo of my life that I don't dance better. Just in terms of, not that it's, would I have gotten more work if I danced better? I'd like to think so, but I'm not really sure. It's not like I'll ever get to be like a real professional dancer. I definitely don't have that skill set in me, but that I would be better at doing what I've been asked to do would be so helpful, would have been so helpful to me. If I could just have learned sequencing. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's such a skill. Learning choreo, you have to continuously work on that.
And then just all the things that I've had to do in my career would have been tremendously helped by dance. And it just really bugs me that I was so, self-conscious, and I just thought, oh, everybody else in class is going to laugh at me. And, because I was in high school and awkward. I'm still awkward. But you just, it's sort of like too bad. It's like, now it's just like, well, you just got to learn it. You know what I mean? But it's so much harder now. So yes, number one is go to dance class, you dummy. That's how I feel.
That's fair. I mean, even as someone who was a trained dancer, now when I go to steps or when I go to a Perry class, it is so hard to pick things up. I don't pick things up quickly. I've never picked up choreography quickly. So I understand that even having some semblance of a background in it, it is hard. So I don't think it's just you. It's hard.
Well, yeah, but most things are. A lot of people are like, well, I just don't understand how you could stand on a stage and sing a song. It's like, that's the easiest thing in the world comparatively to like learning a dance combination and then kicking your leg over your head. I'm sorry, that is a piece of cake. But that's just because that's a skill I have, not because it's, whatever. Everybody's got different strengths and weaknesses, right? And I've been really lucky that I've been able to use mine in my career.
If you weren't a performer, what do you think you would be doing?
That's such a good question. I feel very strongly I would still be working in the theater because when I moved to New York, all I knew was that I was going to work in the theater. I didn't think I was going to be an actor necessarily. I wasn't the greatest actor in school or, you know what I mean? It was like, nobody was like, yeah, you. No, I just wanted to work in the theater and I knew that I would in some way. And that's why I moved to New York. So I was like, that's where the theater is. So I could have taken tickets. I could have been a dresser. I could have been in casting. I could have did any number of jobs involved
You
with
were
the
a
theater.
production assistant.
I
for a
was,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah, and a fact checker, but fact checker was not on Broadway. That was just
No, that was
funsies.
just to make money, while I was going to auditions and stuff like that.
When you were a production assistant, what did you learn there that you maybe carried with you, if anything?
I learned how incredibly difficult it is to produce a play on Broadway. All the different parts that go into that. And it was the greatest education I could ever have gotten. Also because I met a lot of working professionals, obviously. So I worked for this producer and, I would type her letters and I would type her letters. Literally, we didn't have a computer. Type her letters and, make the Xeroxes and all this stuff, run around town, deliver copies to people. And in doing that, I met the casting director for the play, right? And she remembered me later and called me in for M Butterfly, and that's how that happened. But you just don't know, right? So I just sort of felt like working in the theater, being able to go to the Court Theater, which is what the James Earl Jones used to be, the Court Theater, and to learn a Broadway theater, its ins and outs. It was so valuable, and just how hard it was to get a show up and all the little things that can go wrong through nobody's fault, just because. And I just sort of thought, okay, this is what it is. There's no guarantees. You just got to keep your head down and do the best you can. And I sort of feel like that's it. That's life and that's theater.
One of my big hot takes is that everyone should work in service at some point in their life. I think maybe before you're 20, when you're still forming your brain, you need to work in service, or you need to be a production assistant. You need to be in something where you understand how to you learn how to treat people, and you learn that what you're doing is one cog in the wheel, but it is an important cog. I think a lot of times when we're getting our start in the industry, in any industry, no matter what you're working on, you feel a little undervalued for getting coffee or undervalued for having to Xerox. And I go, no, that's where you learn.
That's exactly right. I think, also being in a theater, being in anything, I don't know, being an actor in anything, you're a cog. Even if you're the star, you're the cog. You're a cog. Because the thing doesn't happen without every single person on that production, right? You're the one, you're on stage maybe, and people might notice you, but that doesn't mean you're any more important than anybody else. And I sort of think that's theater for you. You serve the production. We are soldiers. I've always thought of actors and certainly dancers as soldiers because you have such a strong idea of you follow the director, they tell you what to do, you do it. You might not agree with that, right?
Yes.
But you do it because you're a soldier. And there's something beautiful about that to me, that it's we are all in it together. We work as a unit. We are, right? And even when it's a failing campaign, and those are the ones where you bond most strongly with your fellow soldiers, right? It's just, there's beauty in that there's honor in that. And I think that that's kind of what people don't understand about the bonds that you make in a show or on a project, because it's no, we all are giving our all to the effort as a team, not as individuals together.
One thing that comes to mind is I feel sometimes that being a performing artist or an actor, a storyteller, we often say, yeah, we're having fun. It's not brain surgery, which is true. This is not rocket science. But I do think that that being said, when the world shut down because of COVID and when the world feels heavy like it feels right now, the one thing that people consistently turn to is art. And I don't ever want to forget how important that is, that we are, yes, what we're doing is fun and what a blessing it is that we get to do something fun, but that it is all in service of creating something that sparks joy and brings us together. I mean, I will never forget Tiger King, the great Tiger King of 2020.
I never saw it.
And I'm so impressed by you.
No, just because I don't care.
I was a trash human. That's good.
That's just me. But look, I mean, come on, I've watched every Hallmark movie.
I love this for you. I love this for me.
But yeah, of course. But like, this is the thing. It's all valuable. It's all hard, right? And everybody, and I don't care who you are, you could be, working in some, office building. You could be a doctor. You could be any profession. You have the same kind of pride in your work as we take in ours. You feel proud when something you've done goes well. So do we, right? It kind of doesn't matter. As long as you're somebody who takes pride in your work and is conscious of all the other people working around you, well, that's what it is to be in the theater, And I think, yes, we provide a very valuable service. And I think people figured that out in a big way during COVID. But I never thought we didn't. I always thought we did. I always thought what we do is special and it's difficult and it deserves respect. I'm not saying you have to love it, right?
I think you should love it. Theater is incredible.
Well, theater is incredible, but I'm not saying you have to love everything you see, nor do I, It's like, I understand you weren't taught to love it. You don't gravitate towards it naturally. Fine, whatever. You like what you like and I'll like what I like. But doesn't mean you can dismiss it. Doesn't mean you can say this isn't as important as other things. It is important and it's worthwhile. And we all have something to give and this is the way we're giving it. And, there's nothing wrong with that. Mm-hmm. And you should be very proud that you're in the arts. I am very proud that I am in the arts.
And I feel like I'm in a masterclass and also in a TED Talk. I feel like I'm in the middle of a TED Talk where I'm like, yes, I needed this. Because I do think that I feel like I go through a yearly process of wanting to quit, which is weird and I don't like it. But I do, because I think sometimes I feel like what I'm doing is not as important as some things. Because so one weird side quest about me is if I wasn't a performer, one thing that really calls to me is I would love to help. One thing I do is I help to lead a soup kitchen. And I've been doing it in New York City for over 12 years. And I did it in San Diego for a long time. And I'm really called towards mutual aid. And one organization I'm really passionate about is World Central Kitchen, who is boots on the ground anytime there's a huge emergency. And I think, wow, if I spent as much time as I do auditioning and working on scenes and being in front of the camera and doing all these things, if I spent that time towards mutual aid, what impact could I have? And so every year I'm like, is it time for me to just go and be in the Congo somewhere helping make soup and maybe I don't be an actor anymore? Have you felt these kinds of callings to maybe do something else? I hope you haven't.
Unfortunately, no.
Oh, what a blessing.
That's always sort of what's kept me in it. Because of course, everybody has, should I quit? Everybody asks themselves that, I literally ask myself that every year for maybe 30 years, whatever it was.
You personally cannot, Anne. But
the thing is, I could never think of anything else that I could do that would be as important or fulfilling to me, right? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't pursue this work, which is incredibly valuable and meaningful, if that's what you want to do. But you have to keep in mind, it's not because what you're doing now is less than, it's just different, right? I think that pursuing humanitarian work is incredibly important. And I admire anyone who has that kind of devotion and kind of like the presence of mind to say like, no, this is my calling. I believe in callings. I believe theater is a calling, just like being a nun is a calling. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and so if that's what's calling you, go. Nobody says you can't be both. Why are we limiting ourselves? You just go. We'll go where you're called and everything will work out. I have to believe that's true because it's certainly been true for me.
And this has been so healing and so lovely. I feel like so many people are going to listen to this and feel like hopeful and excited. And I am just so wildly grateful you were here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness. If someone is, I feel like a lot of the lovely humans who listen are young and up and coming. Maybe they're still in college and figuring out their path. What advice would you give to them at home?
It's like, you're completely enough. I think it is very tempting to try to turn yourself into what you think is popular now, what you think is what the people want from you. And I'm here to tell you, it's not going to work. You have to be you. Just be proud of you and be happy being you. I tried very hard to be a long hair girl. Do you know what I'm saying? For many years, certainly when I was young, and I was prettier and thinner. And I tried so hard to be that girl with the hair that you would toss and like to be cast in like these kind of like, I'm a sexy girl kind of parts. Nobody was buying it. Like at all. It was my, I tried really hard and I failed really miserably. I am unique and myself, and I was never hired until I sort of leaned into that. And people could see, oh yes, this is what she is. This is what she brings to the table. You don't have to fit into a mold to be successful. And I don't care what anybody says. You're not going to be if you try to change who you are. Now, if you are a long hair girl, good for you. Work all the time. That's what I say. Work a lot when you're young because that stuff goes away. But if you're not, that's okay too. You will figure it out. People will figure it out about you, but you've got to know who you are and be confident in who you are. That's all.
Well, on that note, this has been Had to Ask. This is Anne Harada, and I am absolutely obsessed. And I think I need to go and lay down. I just need to be horizontal and think about all the things that this lovely human has said to me. Anne, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Also, go see Schmigadoon. It's incredible. Anne is incredible. You've been listening to Had to Ask, executive produced by Joseph Loper and me, Melanie Sutrathada. Filmed on location at the beautiful Thompson Central Park in New York City. If you loved this episode, make sure to follow, subscribe, and leave a rating. It helps the show grow and gets us one step closer to world domination.